So, Riv,
Yo,
wearing your Lakers gear, how are you feeling? And Drew, quickly respond to how you feeling with Riv wearing this Lakers gear.
I feel amazing.
And how you feel with the disrespect these two have been spewing on your Lakers all year long.
These two is crazy.
So,
Are we gonna start with me or are we gonna start with you?
No,
I didn't understand how you approached that.
we
You
can
can
roll
go
out.
ahead, Riv. We know that people want to
me
hear
and Drew
but
have had multiple conversations about the Lakers versus the Warriors. For the most part, it's been nothing but respect on both.
for the most
ends.
part, until you fucking cross the line.
Listen. I may have got a little excited on Twitter.
He's part of the team.
And listen, what happened? Let me tell you exactly what happened. I didn't like the energy after Game 5. I felt like Drake could have used that energy in Games 1 through 4. Felt like the team was down. So I felt like the fans needed me to up the spark up a little bit, and the fans needed that. I didn't have to name drop Drew's name. I could have just said fuck the Lakers. But it's a little bit more exciting, more funny, a lot more giggles.
Got more interaction.
Yeah, a lot more giggles if you add them.
Hey, we're all sellouts.
Yeah, listen.
Not me. Not me.
No. But to talk about the series, the Lakers are a great defense. They play great defensively. The Warriors couldn't hit shots. It was just Steph and the rest of men. I couldn't really name too many people out there that was helping them out.
DiVincenzo.
But he was good for a couple games. Every other night, though, you saw with the Lakers, a role player stepped up. And I think that's the most important part. Their depth was really good. It could have been D'Lo one night, Reeves one night, Dennis Schroeder another night, Rui for a game. They had a role player step up every single night. And AD was playing. Me and Drew was talking about in the car, great defensively since Tim Duncan. We haven't seen a guy big hold down the interior defense like this since Tim Duncan. And I think that is what led the ship. You know, LeBron and AD weren't great offensively, scoring-wise, but the role players locked in defensively. They were great. They were able to shut down the Warriors' role players. And it was really just Steph and others. I mean, there was a stat that I saw about high-quality shots. The Warriors were getting a lot of high-quality looks. They just weren't
Especially
making
Klay.
shots. Yeah, listen. We'll get on him later. Okay. But yeah, I got a bone to pick with him. But and then you saw Ham put on, like we talked about all this shit in the car, but you saw Ham put on a masterclass in terms of just making Steph work on the other end, making him tired. I think after game 3, I'm gonna say it in a minute. After game 3, it went from Steph shooting 41% from the 3-point line to like 28. You know, you could tell the legs was gone. He had to work defensively and then carry the load offensively. Ham out-coached Kerr. It was blatantly obvious. The rotations was great. The adjustments was great. You haven't seen in a long time an experienced coach like that, which I told him he wasn't really that experienced.
That's a fact.
But an experienced coach like that get outworked by a first-year head coach in the playoffs. But shout out to the Lakers. They was amazing. AD, great. And this next series is going to be great. In terms of the Warriors, man, Klay, Poole, listen, Korea's been calling me. I'm gonna tell you, Korea's been calling me. And I've been on the phone with a lot of countries.
China hung up. They hung up. China hung up.
China hung up. Japan hung up. Russia didn't even respond. I've been trying to figure out what's going on.
Russia's busy with other things.
Klay and Poole combined for like 15 to 16 points back-to-back games. Poole didn't score the last 2 games. Klay was dog shit, missing a lot of open looks. It's just Steph and the Warriors couldn't get enough offensive output as where the Lakers got a new guy every other night, and I think that was the difference.
How do you feel about being wrong about the Lakers? Blatantly wrong.
Don't answer. And this is when it's Andrew's time to go. And I'm sure, again, everyone's tuning in to hear me speak about the Los Angeles Lakers. You want to know why? Because the Los Angeles Lakers are box office. Do you remember when I told you that the Lakers are box office, but apparently no one wanted to watch them? Do you remember that? Do you remember that?
Yeah. Well, you weren't box office at the time.
That's an odd
but I know
yes.
he remembers it.
Oh, okay.
Because
Really?
everyone
Who said that?
Because
That was you?
my good friend Joel V. Moran told me that the Lakers aren't worth watching. I don't watch the Los Angeles Lakers. And
Too late for me.
And it's super funny how I miss a podcast because I'm here studying for my NCLEX and I'm working very diligently, but never ever think that I don't keep focus with my pride and joy, the Pick a Side podcast, because I was absolutely floored to hear Joel speak in a positive light of the Los Angeles Lakers. And in fact, John, if you could do me a favor, can you please let that
Look
clip
at the
play?
landscape of the NBA playoffs right now. Is there an argument you could make against the Lakers not being the best team in the playoffs currently?
You know,
We
you
look
can
at
cover
the
right there.
Celtics,
Just
they're the
clip it
most
right there for me.
talented, but
Just
in
stop.
terms-
Just stop. Did you hear that? The Los Angeles Lakers are the most talented team in the NBA playoffs right
I said
now.
talented?
I think the clip did say talented.
I said best.
Oh,
You
either
Oh,
said
way.
even better.
You said Celtics were the most talented.
Even better, the Lakers are the best because talent only takes you so far. What gets you there is the extra hard work. The Los Angeles Lakers are the best team in the NBA playoffs. And why that's so phenomenal is because all I've heard all year long is that the Lakers are not worth watching, that the Los Angeles Lakers are not good. I sat here. We're going to lose to the Timberwolves once we made the play-in, of course.
Nuts.
I sat here and was told that the Lakers were going to lose in 5 games to the Memphis Grizzlies, although they had injuries, and we just decided to gloss over them. I was told that Anthony Davis and LeBron James were question marks in the Golden State Warriors series. And now all I'm hearing is now the Los Angeles Lakers are the best team in the NBA playoffs, and it's going to be even sweeter when we have conversations about the Los Angeles Lakers and the Denver Nuggets preview later on in the show. Now for Riv, because of course I had to talk about him because he decided to take a vulnerable moment when I wasn't on the show to talk nicely about the Lakers. And I'll be fucking remiss. I'll be fucking remiss if I hear positive comments coming from Joel V. Moran about the Los Angeles Lakers.
Talk positively.
Now I'm going to talk about you, Riv, and why I'm going to be so brash with you. It's very shocking because I'm usually nice to you. You're one of the nicest people I know. I really don't like to have negative energy towards you, but you decided to say fuck Drew.
Yeah, no, I did.
For comedic purposes, which, hey, I understand more than anyone. I like making another man laugh as much as the next person. It was funny. I even laughed. But I laughed even harder when we blew you out by 20 to close the series out.
I also laughed.
You know what? And if, John, you could do me another favor, if you could pull up the graphic.
Bro's got receipts.
If you could do me a favor, the tweet. Not the stats, the tweet, please. And I'm solely pulling this up because Riv decided to play stupid when I decided to bring up the fact that people overrate Jordan Poole. John, let me know when you have it up because Riv was one of those guys that said Jordan Poole can be a poor man Steph Curry. And when I brought it up saying that Riv said this, he said, "Oh, I never said that. That's just Twitter." But ironically enough, John, do you have? Oh, there it is on the lower third. Here's Riv.
He said that.
Here's Riv.
You're not coming back from that.
Saying that Jordan Poole can be a poor
That's
man
crazy.
Steph Curry.
That was this year.
That's crazy.
Someone
January.
said you must be a maniac.
That's
January
nuts.
12th?
And what did January 12th, 2023?
Thought I said it last
You're
year.
cooked.
You're
cooked.
It was this
I
year.
thought I said it last
It was
year.
this
All right.
year.
Why the fuck did I say
Someone said you must be a maniac for
I think
that.
I said I think he was starting at the moment. Yeah.
Let's see Warriors
yeah.
game.
Fuck.
January.
And
You got
I'm
me.
sure you can show the last 3 games, and I'm only pulling up the last 3 games because the only games that matter to me is everything after Riv saying Austin Reeves was mid. So why the last 3 games matter so much to me is because if you could just pull up Jordan Poole's numbers for me, please.
You know, I'm
Jordan
cooked.
Poole in the last 3 games of the series, 6 points, 3.3 assists. Hey, not bad. 1.3 rebounds.
or the splits.
It doesn't even matter.
You don't want to fucking know.
He scored 0.
Because he had more
22
fouls
ten.
at one point than points. But here's Austin. Austin Reeves, Mr. Regular. Mr. Undrafted. 20 points per game, 5 assists, 4.7 rebounds, 36% from 3. Mr. Regular. Outperforming poor man Steph Curry.
Oh, yeah.
So talk to me, Riv, because I'm genuinely shocked. Steph Curry, I know you never said this because you know what? At least I can respect you. You have somewhat of a brain. This was someone that was supposed to enter Mount Rushmore with a W in this series. He was supposed to enter Mount Rushmore. Again, I say this because you have a brain. And you're not illogical to this degree.
Yeah.
Steph Curry was supposed to enter the Mount Rushmore. What happened? Because in a game 6, in a closeout game where you're expecting the best player in the world, Stephen Curry, to show up, the real best player when he wants to be, when he asserts himself, because he understands that at 38 years old, he needs to be tactical when he decides to be the true King James, decides to be the best player on the court from start to finish, a 39-9 game. And as we saw the series progress, I started to see that three-point percentage slowly but surely, as bad as it was, start to increase. And what's really insane to me is that in a game 6 where you expect Steph Curry to be his best, where I don't think Steph Curry was per se horrible.
You thought he was to blame for what we got?
I wouldn't say he was the blame, but it's not the Steph Curry we were expecting Were you expecting that, Steph Curry?
No, it's almost like in order to beat LeBron, he does need Kevin Durant.
Were
by
you
his side.
expecting that, Steph Curry, the inefficient Steph Curry that
expecting
was?
Hold on.
Let's
No,
he did it. He did
I'm
it.
sorry.
He did it.
I'm still talking.
I apologize.
Riv, I'm
Bro,
sorry.
just-
Let me finish.
When
and
you
then
done,
you can
when
talk.
you're done.
Agreed.
I'm just
Agreed.
letting
Of
you know
course.
he did it.
Of course. Listen, this is a Lakers Warriors topic, and I'm sure they want to hear from us.
You don't need to talk about Kevin Durant.
No, you
It's
did
a
it.
fact. It's
You
facts.
brought it up.
It
He's
is what it
done
is.
now.
Klay Thompson.
Oh, look.
This guy is supposed to
Look at
be
Klay.
one of the greatest number twos of all time. He was historic in the regular season for his standards, a career high in points. He's going to come into the Lakers series, which he was saying that he's been looking forward to his entire life. He idolized Kobe Bryant, one thing you can respect for sure, but he comes into Laker Nation, comes into Crypto.com arena and puts up this performance. Andrew Wiggins is one that I can salute because he was playing through injury. However, he didn't play very well. Draymond Green was very clearly your second best player all series long. And when Draymond Green is your second best player, you revert back to that Golden State Warriors team that missed the playoffs when you didn't have Clay.
You played the Grizzlies?
When you played the Grizzlies, you played the Los Angeles Lakers, and you didn't make
Wiggins was actually
the
on that team.
playoffs. He was. And Curry was a MVP finalist, number 2. But think about it. When you don't have Clay playing at Clay standards, and Andrew Wiggins isn't the number 2 option that you saw last season, you watch this Golden State Warriors that was in this series against the Los Angeles Lakers. I told you before the series started, we're better on every front except shooting. And that was emphasized this series. I told you the Lakers were going to win in 6 games, and you told me I'll see the Warriors win in 6 before I see the Lakers win in 6. All I have asked this entire season is for respect. And again, I want to emphasize, the job is not done. I'm taking this minor victory lap because I was laughed at.
We're talking for 20 minutes.
This is, and if you think this is a lot, wait until we fucking win the entire
Shit, I hope.
championship.
Goddamn.
It's good monologue.
I was laughed at when we were the 13th seed,
You
the
had
11th
Westbrook.
seed, the 9th seed. We weren't the 9th seed when we had Westbrook.
13 though, for sure.
Kendrick Nunn.
And then I was told that we weren't going to
rough
make it past
roster.
the play-in. We weren't going to make it past the first round. Golden State, that's where this amazing run was going to end. Bring me the Denver Nuggets. Bring me Nikola Jokic. Because all I've emphasized is that this Lakers team is for real. And that Anthony Davis will continue to assert himself as the best big in the game. This is the test that I've been waiting for. Nikola Jokic, the so-called best big in the game, and it's deserved. He's been unbelievable this postseason. But here we are, the best defensive big versus the best offensive big. Which will matter more? Because Anthony Davis is no slouch when it comes to the offense, and when it comes to defense, we are watching the single-handed greatest postseason run by a defensive player ever.
Oh,
This is
my
a
God.
Number
dominant.
2020?
I think he's been way more impressive this go round because his shot blocking, his rim protection has been even more heightened. The Los Angeles Lakers have exceeded all expectations, but we're not done because the Denver Nuggets are next on this list, and then we'll continue to talk about the championship when we get there. But right now, we have to finish our food, and that's the Denver Nuggets. But again, I told you so. Lakers in 6.
Whew.
That was a lot. Thanks.
And you know why it was a lot? Because again, I sat here all year long
6 minutes.
hearing your disrespect. So I'm allowed.
You are.
I'm sure you
You're
see
for
these
sure.
fans.
You are.
I'm not even reading the comment section. All I know is what they're saying.
Cook.
Get it, bro.
Let Drew cook. Because I've sat through abuse nonstop. And Riv, I want to shake your hand.
What's up?
Because you are a very respectable human being. Very few people can take the abuse that I just gave.
Pause.
I lost. Let me know.
Very appreciative. I appreciate that. You're a true man.
Thank
Well done.
Appreciate it.
What's up, fella?
Oh,
What
Dehls,
got going
hey, you got
on?
something to say? You got something to add on to
He
it?
said a lot.
He said
He said a
ton.
lot. And my biggest takeaway from it is I really do hope for your sake the Lakers do win.
Don't
Because
get me going.
This
Don't get me
this
going.
feels very reminiscent of Week 2 Dolphins 2 of 500 yards.
You want to know the difference?
And then nothing happened.
Here's the difference. Here's the fucking difference. We're in the fucking playoffs. The shit you said we wouldn't even fucking reach. So what you're going to do is respect us the way that you respected us on that last podcast that I wasn't a part of, Mr. Moran.
There's no disrespect.
So what you're going to do is talk to the camera. Call us the best team in the NBA playoffs.
And listen, Dehls, and Dehls, I want you guys to be witness. Because you came up here talking about, you conveniently talk great about the Lakers when I was gone. Well, listen, they just took a 3-1 lead over the Warriors. And here's what we're not about to do. Because not everything happens on the show. There are some things behind closed doors. And even on the podcast, Drew mentioned it. We had an intimate conversation at Blue 42.
It's true.
Talking about the Lakers. And I told him, listen, I think you guys got a legit chance. I told him, look them in the eyes.
Who was your last hope?
I said the Warriors are my last hope because I think we will see about Denver. The clip you played, while yes, that's true, I do think that one of the things that the Lakers will try to do is force Jokic to go one-on-one more because AD can handle that type of coverage. The Nuggets have so many different disposals on their offense that they can use. They have run Nikola Jokic as a pick-and-roll ball handler. I don't want to get too in-depth into it because we're going to do a preview on it. But I do think that Games 5 and 6 showed me that Denver can win even if Jokic is going one-on-one or they're forcing you to go one-on-one because Denver has adjustments for that. What I will say about the Lakers, and this is the biggest surprise this season to me, is that Darvin Ham has been an excellent coach.
Amazing.
Every single game, he's made a different adjustment. And although he's caught a lot of scrutiny from Lakers fans these playoffs, from the media these playoffs, his rotations have been questionable. I excuse that because it's a new team. He's trying to figure out what works right now. And fans think they know what works. These are the guys that are watching the film all the time that feel more comfortable in their decision-making. And Darvin Ham has adjusted brilliantly. Vando starts off the series. They start off in drop coverage. They now have Vando guarding Steph Curry. They now switch and have smaller guards guarding Steph. You eventually have Schroeder starting in the lineup because they know Vando is limited offensively, and you can sag off him defensively. So I think the adjustments that Darvin Ham has made throughout the series has been very impressive. But to the Lakers' credit, this is one of the greatest historic midseason turnarounds that we've seen.
For sure. Up there with you guys.
And I apologize for not seeing this coming because even last year with the Celtics, I didn't see it coming either. They look so horrendous.
I saw that coming.
Me.
Okay.
It was me.
You didn't. I'm not saying you didn't.
They look so horrendous. I was ready to rule them out, and they made the finals. So the Lakers, of course, you now have depth around LeBron and Anthony Davis. They're both healthy. They can make this deep of a run. I'm not ready to just cast Denver aside as some easy opponent. I think it's going to be tough.
It's going to be an amazing series.
It's one of the series that I'm having trouble predicting. What I do feel, and this is what I feel very confident now, I said in that clip, I don't trust the Boston Celtics. I don't trust them.
Back to you.
And as much as I love the Philadelphia 76ers, specifically James Harden in that bright of a moment, I am not sure what I'm going to get. I don't know. Right now, the teams that I'm feeling the most confident in the NBA landscape are the Lakers and the Nuggets. And with that clip, all I said was, is there an argument you can make against the Lakers? Because anybody here can make an argument for the Lakers being the best team left in the playoffs. You can make that over the Nuggets.
For sure.
I prayed for this, man.
Yeah, you did.
I prayed for this.
Hey, you took a beating. You took a bashing for months. Listen, to our defense, the Lakers were terrible and weren't box office for months. And then once that deadline happened, they got some pieces. And I think in terms of turnarounds post-deadline, this is probably the best I've ever seen. I think Celtics' second half, their record was just so ridiculous last season that you probably give the nod to them. But I think this might be even more impressive because the Celtics still had the same players, right? Outside of Derek White, they didn't really make any moves last season. And it was still the same guy, same coach, and they just, energy shifted, as Jaylen Brown said. Yeah, I'm saying last year why it shifted. But the Lakers, what's interesting is that obviously you made the moves at the deadline, but the reason you won against specifically the Warriors was still mostly the pieces you had pre-deadline. It was still obviously LeBron and AD. Rui, you got around the deadline. But you had Austin Reeves step up, right? Vando earlier in the series. Later, he kind of got, fizzled out of the rotation because offensively he was a liability. But the first couple of games, guarding Steph Curry and Schroeder, as you mentioned too, was playing, some really good on-ball defense, hit some timely shots. Every once in a while, he'll have a brainhead moment here and there. But
Lonnie fucking
yes, sir. Lonnie Walker single-handedly won you a game in the series.
And last night.
Right, so
Walker was really, I understand. I would have turned it off if I was you too.
And Lonnie was hitting 3 after 3 yesterday, but it just felt like this Laker team, even though it went 6, it really never felt like the Warriors had a chance in the series. If we're being honest, I know it was 6 games.
When we were up 17, and you guys brought it to 6. My stomach started.
Yeah,
and I think
once Reeves hit that half-court shot,
that's a fact.
I was like that felt like a real dagger in the heart because you were cut it. It was up 17 early. You cut it down to 6. You have a wide open 3 air ball. Even was there for a layup.
Up 17. We came back. I'm already in the crib. I'm like, yeah, nigga.
You can say whatever you want.
I'm like, it's up. Like I'm talking. Step in the air one. I'm like,
yeah, shit was getting active.
Poole dumbass just.
Yo, Poole having 4 fouls, 0 points.
The foul where he
nasty.
just ran down on. I'm like,
it was some real. He had a couple nice moments in the second half where he hit a couple and ones.
I think when it comes to how the Lakers look against the Warriors, most of it can be attributed to they just were a better team. I think that facing the Kings in the first round definitely took its toll. Guarding that offense,
especially
guarding that offense, having to move around, it definitely took a toll. That game, the series won 7 games,
and it was very impressive how the Lakers are able to play the Grizzlies.
What do you think, Griff?
Who are paint dominated?
Did it take a toll on the Golden State Warriors?
It did. I think
Talk to me.
Hey,
do you think
you have championship?
I think it took a toll on Steph. But I think
Steph had to drop 50 for y'all to win.
Remember?
Yeah, Steph,
No. And here's an example because, of course, I'm the LeBron fan. I'm only a LeBron fan. It's the only reason I'm a Lakers fan. So let's revert back to 2018 when we went 7 games against the Indiana Pacers. Mm-hmm. Was it fatigue that we went on to win in 4 games against Toronto?
Why don't you ask the guy?
No, I'm sorry. I'm just looking at you because you're in my line of sight. Would fatigue have bothered LeBron James in that series?
You can make the argument.
I'm just curious.
I guess.
To win in 4 games. Wouldn't he be fatigued? When you're the reigning NBA champions?
We're talking about the Raptors, bro.
No, and we're talking about the Lakers. You told me who weren't worth anything, weren't worth watching, weren't worth talking about.
They weren't at the time.
So talk to me.
Not.
You picked the Warriors to win.
Yes.
You said Anthony Davis, LeBron James were your concerns this series.
I don't know about Anthony Davis.
You said Anthony Davis was a concern.
Why?
You said Anthony Davis was
Why
a concern.
did I say
LeBron James was a concern. You said LeBron James was a concern because he hasn't looked like the same LeBron James. And you said Anthony Davis was a concern because he's been, quote unquote, inconsistent.
Well, he was kind of inconsistent this series.
Offensively.
But defensively, this is the best defensive
you
player
have
I've
to
seen
stop
since
saying
Tim
that.
Duncan.
I mean, I never said
before he said all time.
That's the only gripe. That's my only gripe.
I still feel that confident because, again, we see what Anthony Davis is able to do around the perimeter against your GOAT, Steph Curry.
Steph Curry points per possession was insane on AD.
But Steph Curry was, we're talking about one of the greatest scorers of all time.
You're highlighting 2 possessions.
In the biggest moment of a game.
Yeah,
that
but
game 4 was huge.
No, I understand, but his points per possession.
Not one shot attempt,
decided the game.
Not one shot attempt, Riv, but 2.
That decided the game. That decided the
series.
So
that makes you the
Anthony
greatest big man
Anthony
defender
Davis got
of all time.
Steph Curry so scared that he jacked up arguably worse 3 shot. Why isn't he taking Anthony Davis to the rim?
He was doing that.
But he didn't do it in that possession.
In the 4th.
Why?
But he was doing that the first 3 quarters.
When
why
it mattered.
Why he couldn't do it in the 4th?
You want to know why?
Why?
Why is that? Because, again,
Clay wasn't making. Poole wasn't making.
Okay, but that has nothing to do with anything. Why isn't he?
For 3
Did you answer my question? Did you answer my question? Why is Steph Curry not driving to the basket on Anthony Davis?
Why didn't he? Okay, my thing is he did it the first 3 quarters. He didn't do it in
the
4th.
biggest moment of the game when you're down 1.
Probably
why?
He was tired.
So you're tired in the biggest moment of the game when you're supposed to give everything. You're going to jack up not 1 but 2.
I admit it was a horrible shot.
Which shot was worse in your opinion, guys? Because I already got his opinion, and you can answer too. Which shot was worse, Jordan Poole's 3 in Game 1, or Steph Curry's 3 on Anthony Davis?
It was Steph's 3.
I think it was Steph's 3.
Which one was worse?
Which was a worse shot selection?
I think it was Poole's.
I think it was
Steph's.
Steph
step back 40-footer?
Yeah,
John, you know what, bro? I'm sorry, bro.
That was
like mad time.
That was like, I don't want to get blocked and get embarrassed. I'm going to just chuck this shit up.
I understand, but it's Steph. Like, I trust him with that shot.
Jordan Poole was wide open at minimum.
He was.
I think it
He was
was
at the
wide
logo.
Nah,
So was Steph.
He was
Somebody
definitely-
alone him.
Steph was deeper for sure.
No. Jordan
Steph was
Poole was
deeper.
deeper.
Steph was
When he
right
took
next
the
to him, and
deeper.
the man was in front of him.
Steph was
The issue
deeper.
becomes, why didn't Steph drive?
Okay, like we can go back and forth on this all day. I think what Riv is pointing out that the Warriors did have success on Anthony Davis in the pick and roll all series. And that is a real thing. The Warriors, what he mentioned earlier was facts with how this is why they lost the series. They didn't make shots. Their shot quality was amazing. They just didn't make shots.
Their defense was
And sometimes that happens. And
On and off.
I want to push back. Anthony Davis, I know he's an elite defender. I never question that. Offensive consistency is what I question. LeBron James, I don't think he looked like the same LeBron in this series, and that's not
Game
a knock.
6,
That,
game-
okay,
when you needed
listen.
the king the most.
He could put. He had
And that's
moments.
not a
30
knock.
moments
That's
on
not. It's not a
14
knock
shots,
saying
10 to
LeBron isn't
14.
2018 no more. LeBron is still a
Or
great
2020.
top 10
That's when he was
player,
MVP
but
of the
his
finals.
game is limited now because he just drives to the basket and he's inconsistent getting to the lane.
His
He's
jump shots come
averaging.
around the last
He's
couple
averaging
games.
the least amount of drives he's ever had in his career, and his jump shot is very spotty.
He's been a post-up player recently, and it's been
game
effective.
Game 6, he had a great game, 30 points. He was shooting the ball terrific. I attribute that to Andrew Wiggins was coming into this game with a rib injury, and LeBron, being the player he is, decided to attack that early and decided to post him up and be physical with Andrew Wiggins early. And Wiggins can't really push back because he's injured and can't give much physicality.
And I'll push back against that with a lot of these matchups that I saw with LeBron James were either Klay Thompson, which LeBron was taking advantage of that, putting him in the post, or when Jordan Poole was on the court, it was whoever offense on Jordan Poole. And that's when he was a body bag, or we'd switch on to Steph Curry.
I agree.
It was a lot of switching, and if LeBron James saw Klay Thompson, he was taking advantage of that by putting him in the post. And even with Andrew Wiggins, he was not afraid. He was backing him down. He was driving to the basket. He was drawing fouls. That was
in game 6, though.
I'm saying 6.
Yeah, 1 through 5, Wiggins was
He
very
was doing
good
his
on
thing,
him.
but again, when LeBron James understood, hey, it's time to close. We don't need question marks on the series. LeBron was undoubtedly the best player on the court.
Yeah, 30 and efficient
No,
30.
there's
at
no
that.
doubt. Game 6, I think he was the best player on the court. But games 1 through 5, he wasn't. And I thought it was a mixture for the Lakers when they won games. For the most part, it was Anthony Davis, but then you had the Lonnie Walker game.
Still leads the team in points this postseason.
I understand that. And LeBron James is still a phenomenal player. I'm not knocking him in no
sure.
way, shape, or form. I am just saying those question marks were valid because he did not dominate this series like I've seen LeBron do in the past. And he still struggled to get into the basket.
I had the same questions, but the Lakers still ended up winning the series with LeBron outside of Game 6 not being a dominant offensive player. His shot came around these last few games. I mean, coming into the series, he was in the 20s in three-point percentage. He shot, I think, 33, 34%. So you see the jump shot coming along, but that was my biggest issue or my biggest concern coming into the series was how are you going to keep up with the Warriors if LeBron's not going to be able to give you 27 a night? And I think I definitely overlooked the fact that the Lakers were able to make this switch from going against the Grizzlies, who at any time really never had more than 3 shooters you respected. You really just had to lock down the paint. The fact that they were able to switch and go against the Warriors, who usually have 3, sometimes 4 shooters out there, except when they have a Looney and Draymond lineup out there. They were able to make that switch, and some of it was the Warriors just not making shots, but a lot of it was the ball pressure. You saw AD obviously continue to be the best defensive player in the NBA right now. Reeves good on the perimeter, Schroeder good on the perimeter. So a lot of credit, although we had that question, is that LeBron can probably still put up 23, 24 a game, but if their defense is going to be this good, they can limit a powerhouse like the Warriors. They could limit a powerhouse like Denver, and they just have to hit timely threes like they did for, I would say, about half of this series, right? They had the game, or this past game they
game
shot.
1, man, we shot horrendously.
Yeah, you have multiple games against the Warriors you were shooting in the 20s, but last game, game 6, you shot 50% from 3, made 13. You had another game, you made 13 threes, shot around 30, 40%. So if they're hitting their timely shots with their defense, LeBron doesn't have to be that dominant scorer.